It's like a donation. Yeah, so it's come along. We got a really
Yeah, well, I didn't make this bet.
Do you have a twin brother who's in hi-hat?
I do.
Do you really? Yeah. I said hi to him today, and then it wasn't you. Because it was from like afar. I was like, hey, Will. And then we got closer, and I was like, not Will. It was really he was like carrying a skateboard, and I was like,
Yeah. He rides that thing around all the time.
because like also I saw him one time like out, and I was like, or I don't know because you didn't say anything to me, so I was like, maybe he doesn't want to associate with me in public. I was really confused.
Yeah, I know.
I'm really glad that I got that cleared up.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I just never did something.
Yeah, I think he doesn't want to. I have to shave my mom.
You're officially a liberal.
Well, yeah, I mean, we came out of the same egg.
I feel like, okay, from a distance, like, from, yeah, but like, I guess up close I'd be able to tell them apart, but like, they just look way too familiar to like, I was like, they can't be because I was confused because you don't live on campus feel like he does, so that's why I was like, almost fine. And I was like, Adrian, way too like that. Yes. I'll get the line. Okay. That's why you just read today.
Well, everybody, we're going to start right now.
Everyone,
Please be seated. There's no gavel, so I'm going to use this. I'm going to apologize from the beginning. I haven't run this Senate meeting in a long time, so it probably will not go as professional as I would like it to go. Mete does a much better job, but I'll try my best.
where's Mete?
He is, I don't know, doing his exam somewhere. What's up?
Why? That'd be unfair to the other people running for executive.
Yeah, how about no?
Let's start. Call to order. Can senators please rise? Start. Would you start, Will?
All right, sure. We, the
We,
student
Senate of Illinois Institute of Technology, reaffirm our responsibility to loyally represent the student body and effectively improve the quality of campus life.
And we're going to go over Mete's rules really quick. So, rule number 1. This works for everybody, senators, non-senators, voting members, non-voting members. Please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged by the chair. That is me right now. If you agree with something that was said, please snap or do a one-handed clap. Please not be too loud. Be concise with your point and be relevant to the topic. Again, these rules apply to everybody, visitors, members of SGA. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, we have 3 new student organizations. First, we'll go with Hobby Electronics. Could the members of Hobby Electronics please come up? If you want, I can change the slides for you, if someone can sit here and change the slides themselves. You have 5 minutes to present, and I will tell you when your 5 minutes are up.
Hi, I'm Jason. This is Max and Carl, and we're to tell you about the Hobby Electronics Club. noticed that we updated our slides today. So,
So basically the overall problem that we've seen is that they're, compared to like, I guess software oriented projects, there's more of a barrier of entry to electronics and hardware. And our goal, number one goal of this club is to reduce that barrier as much as possible. And our secondary goal is to provide an environment to help students expand the knowledge that they already have. We plan to use a variety of both hardware and software to help do this, and I think the fundamental thing is a program called Fritzing, which the draw of it is that it represents schematics as graphical kind of pictures like the one on the right there, and it can help people who don't necessarily have a lot of experience with like reading schematics to help them prototype and document what they've done. Another fundamental thing is that we're going to want to create a wiki that will help store all of the information that we have, that members have gathered on the various components and hardware, and store it somewhere where we can, future members and members that are in there can reference and kind of see what other people have done. Like, I think a good example is when you kind of search the internet for information a lot of times on this stuff, you'll see like a forum where like someone's like, oh, I have this problem, can someone help me? And they're like, oh, never mind, I solved it, and then they don't say anything about how they do it, and it's just really annoying. But we want to document all of that so that it's saved, so that future members can see what everyone has done and kind of have this kind of information pool, I guess. Go ahead.
all right. John Wellen, who runs the Idea Shop, is one of our biggest supporters. He claims that a club focusing on Arduino is like the grammar which can be used for other clubs. We don't want to take from other clubs. We want to meet people, have people grow a love for working with circuitry. A lot of people I've met in BME classes, EC classes, and even iPro are intimidated by the circuitry and programming. BME class, for example, when they get a project given Arduino, they give it to one group member who looks up stuff online, doesn't know how to use the pins, and after they're done with the class, they say, I don't want to touch this anymore. And we want people to make this a hobby and grow and realize it's not that difficult and grow to love it and pursue it on their own.
So currently there's 3 members, the 3 of us. We've done this, we've been meeting, I say members because we've actually been meeting outside without this club because we've just been doing this in our spare time. And Jason actually, when he was petitioning, he found that there was a lot of enthusiasm and interested students that expressed a lot of interest in this. And we already have an email list that students provide their emails when we petitioned, and so we already kind of have a base of students, I guess. This is our budget. You probably noticed it's a lot less than the original budget. This is because we figured, you know, there's only, assuming like this is the first semester would be this year, there's not that much time left. We just basically want to get this club going, get people involved, get like a better like base of students. And we figured we could do it, the introduction with just Arduino. We don't need the Raspberry Pi because that's a lot more expensive. It's a lot more complications due to trying to, there's a lot more expensive kind of equipment that you need for Raspberry Pi, I guess, especially if you have more members. So we figured Arduino is a good place to start.
We want to focus on teaching and learning. Have friendly, supportive club that's not competitive. If people want to be competitive with each other, what we'll do is we'll encourage them to find external competitions and hackathons. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, perfect. Want to do questions now or after the other works?
Questions.
Questions. Okay. So we're gonna do 5 minutes for questions. Let me just reset. Go, I saw Jacob's hand first.
So, are you guys members of BMES or IIIT at all? Do you know what that is? No. So BMES is the Biomedical Engineering Society. As we said, BME students oftentimes work with Arduinos, and IIIE is the Institute of Electronic and Electrical Engineers. I feel that both of those organizations would really love 3 motivated members that would like to deal with projects under Arduinos and other coding and circuit related projects. And I know that they're already well established and they don't have a funding cap, and they have a large membership body that's looking for students that want to lead projects right now. So my suggestion to you is, if this doesn't get passed, to go talk to leadership there and see if you can somehow form a group and start doing all the things that you want to do now under them. Because in my opinion, I don't feel that you guys need to be your own individual organization, because everything that you've said so far falls under those 2 organizations, along with the hackathon organization, which exists already. So you could collaborate with all 3 of those organizations or work under one, in my opinion. But I would suggest, if you guys don't end up getting approved, that you could definitely work with them.
William and then Soren.
On the slide previous to this, at the bottom, you guys kind of, maybe the slide before that. Yeah, so you guys kind of went over it, or you guys didn't mention it at all, rather. It says, like, host workshops for high school students. Could you explain more of what you're planning on doing with that, and then where they would be, and, like, you know, your plans for those?
What I was thinking was, basically we could invite local high school students and get them interested in this at like even earlier than a college level, I guess. And we can do that through the, like I demonstrated with the software fritzing, like they don't need to know how to like read schematics or like the details of like a circuit analysis course. They could understand it through like a graph. Like, I want this to be open to people that aren't necessarily in ECE or biomedical engineering.
I guess my question is more geared towards, like, the logistics behind it. Of, like, where would you have this? How would you attract these high school kids? Things of that nature.
Well, we know we've got a lot of support from John Well, and he said the idea shop that'd be the location. Like, we could definitely work there. Logistics on like inviting a high school here, I haven't done that much research into that, but I mean, it's something I for sure want to look into.
Soren and then John.
What are some specific sort of immediate actions that you would take once you were approved as a club, in terms of event ideas or organization? And then in addition to that, some immediate actions you would take in terms of outreach and recruitment?
The first part, if we were approved, the first thing I think we would do is host some events where we show the basics of like how to get set up, like what hardware, how to set up your hardware, how to do the basics of downloading, and like maybe how to make like an LED blink, something as simple as that. But basically we'd provide probably free food and entice people to come, and if they see it's interesting, hopefully they'd want to come to more events and more meetings.
Would talk to teachers of the classes, BME, EC teachers, and others, and ask them to advertise to the classes if they're interested.
I like how with your organization it's more casual, instead of like you have to be an engineer to be a part of it. And as far as the hosting a workshop for high school students, the question that I have is, would you be open to going to high schools and actually like giving presentations about how they can be involved, instead of just like sending out like a general invitation?
Definitely, that's something I'd definitely like to consider.
That's an excellent idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any advice for that? I know Mike Goss, he's connected with a lot of high schools as well, so he's the person to reach out to, because they're high schools that IIT goes recruiting to, so they're already interested, so maybe that's something you can work with them with as well. Any other questions? No, that's it. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. next organization we have is Chinese Christians on Campus. Is any of the members here? No. All right, after that, AITP.
Let's do it, Jake.
Awesome, guys. You know how it works, 5 minutes. You can control the slides, or you want me to do it?
No, I'll do it. It's fine. Hey everybody, we are the Association of IT Professionals at IIT. I hope you're all having a lovely evening. We are here to petition to be a student chapter of this national organization. So, what is AITP? The organization exists to offer student opportunities. This is a professional organization, so it exists to offer opportunities for information technology, leadership and education through partnerships with industry. Specifically for students, this means that they offer educational seminars and lectures from like main CTOs of corporations all the time. They provide information on relevant IT issues and forums for networking with experienced peers and other IT professionals. So there's a big national collegiate conference that happens every year. This year it's in Chicago, and that's kind of the impetus for why we're deciding to start an organization right now. So this is a list of our members up there. This is just going to be a bunch of in-jokes, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Right now we have 11 members who are pledged. We got a couple here. So for recruitment, AITP got started right now because Ray Trickstad, the chair of the ITM department, is really close with AITP. AITP has a professional chapter in Chicago that has really strong ties with IIT and a really strong alumni chapter. Most of our recruitment would probably be done directly through the department. Ray Trickstad, our proposed faculty advisor, would be CS chair? Head advisor?
Yeah, head advisor.
Answers emails really fast? Bauer, thank you. So between those two departments, there's a lot of interest in pushing this for students, and it is specifically because AITP has such a powerful alumni presence in Chicago.
It's also because the School of Applied Technology and ITM specifically doesn't really have that many organizations, professional organizations for it right now. We have like an honor society, we don't have that anymore. We have like 3 other things that we also don't have anymore. So they're like looking to add more societies under their umbrella. But this is still a society that is geared to basically anyone who touches on technology at IIT, because that would basically be everyone, considering this is a technical university.
Yeah.
But as you can see, it's like basically anyone in those majors. You could find a use for it because you would be able to compete at some type of program in the conference.
So actually AITP has, I'm not sure how many of you have heard of this, AITP has a partnership with I think it's DARPA think tank in Chicago that's about it's digital manufacturing, so applying digital feedback loops to manufacturing methods. So they're actually looking for mechanical and engineering students. So it has a more broad application than just information technology at IIT. There's a lot of opportunity for students outside of CS and ITM and the traditional majors. So what are we going to do here is a fine question. We actually are in the process right now of funding our National Collegiate Convention trip. If you want proof of how strong the AITP professional chapter is in Chicago, they've already fundraised over $1,000 for us to go, just from us asking and soliciting. So they're very active, and we're working with who is he's the second removed immediate past president of the national organization of AITP, is our professional contact who's mentoring us for how we start this organization. He was the previous president of the Chicago chapter as well. So aside from our main conference, we plan on having hackathons, which kind of acts as practice for the national conference, because most of that conference is programming competitions. It's a huge career fair with a whole just slew of competitions in every conceivable IT aspect, and those act as kind of a filter for employers to look at new recruits. So if you win a competition at AITP, NCC, expect to get a job offer. So we're going to use hackathons as a practice during the year for NCC.
Yeah, but just because it's a hackathon, once again, doesn't mean you have to program to be in it. One of the competitions that I actually want to do is like a Microsoft Office suite competition, where you basically prove how well you can use Docs, and I'm very good at using Docs. So, I mean, there's different stuff. There's like a t-shirt design competition, database design, but still there's still that hardware and software along with it.
Yeah, it can be as technical as we can make it, or very simple. Is that fine?
30 seconds.
Well, thank you for your time. Please approve.
We're gonna do 5 minutes for questions.
Okay.
Please raise your hands. Soren.
There are some organizations on campus that are associated with professions in some way, some even related to sort of IT, CS, like ACM, that have had long-term struggles with maintaining a presence on campus and maintaining organization after key members have left. Do you have any sort of plan in place yet, or do you have sort of a plan to develop a plan in order to keep this organization active on campus after people graduate?
Yeah, that is a fine question. Actually, a lot of why we chose the hackathon as an event was for that purpose. If we can, get the system in place so that anybody can program upon picking up a document, say, not program computers, but program the event, the hackathon, have that be the staple of AITP, and that's something that happens every semester. I think that will do a lot just to maintain the momentum of the club, regardless of who its members are. So right now we're developing documents for how to program this specific event. On top of that, we have Bauer and Trickstad, who are both very interested in the survival of this club.
Also, if you get a reputation of being able to get jobs and internships from the like national head organization, you tend to have a better chance of staying on campus. For instance, the National Society of some type of engineers, black engineers. Why did I forget the black part? They have been here for like 30 years. I actually know a guy who graduated who now is like a owner of PLS, who was at the Society of Black Engineers on this campus like 20 years ago. So, and the reason that they've stayed around is because they always have people getting jobs and internships from that organization. So if we can keep that representation, which we can if we can keep winning competitions, then we really won't have a problem, I don't think.
Any other questions?
What other schools around Chicago or Illinois are associated with that? What other student chapters exist?
There are several in Chicago. I can't confidently name them off, but we're going to see them at NCC, the National Collegiate Convention. I'm pretty sure DePaul and University of Illinois Chicago.
I know Kalamazoo College also, because they're helping host a part of it.
But if you're curious about potential like collaboration in the future, I think that would definitely be like a strong chance for that.
Any other questions?
Are you going to have meetings on campus? How frequently? What type of funding will you need from Finance Board?
Oh, okay. So we had a few plans as far as like regular executive board meetings and general body meetings, probably bi-weekly or monthly general body meetings for just updating people on what's happening, and then weekly exec board meetings so that we can actually move on plans. And then AITP has already offered a few speakers to us to bring in. Sometimes those people want a surcharge to get like a hotel if they need to travel, and then like to pay for meals. But it's totally up for debate. And then we talked about the funding for the hackathon, which I actually want to speak more about. Mostly for a hackathon, your expenses are going to be in food because you need to feed the people that you keep in a room for 3 days. It's just common courtesy. And then those would likely be housed on campus, so the fee for the space would be none. And then you also just traditionally will have prizes at a hackathon, which are provided by a sponsor. So the hackathon will be centered around a sponsor development platform. You go to a company and you say, hey, we're interested in having a hackathon. We're looking at your development platform to have people code on for this specific challenge. Would you be interested? And then they offer up a certain amount of money for prizes, which doesn't come from SAF because that's illegal. So the fees for the hackathon are minimal.
And the speakers, most of the people who are a part of the AITP are like CEOs, CIOs, CEOs.
There's a lot of Cs.
Yeah, a lot of C's. So they're all C-level employees, which means you're not just having some random guy come and talk about computers. I go to class every day for that. It's like actually people who are in their professional, like at the top levels. Like even at just going to the conference, like you have the CFO of McDonald's is doing one speaking event, or the security.
The chief technology officer of Illinois, the chief security officer of Illinois, the guy that started big data at Sears in Chicago a few years ago. Those are all people at NCC, and a couple of them have offered to talk here. Those were the people that wanted fees, and then Paul Dittman, who's the guy that we work with, the past national president. He lives over a few blocks away in Bridgeport, and he comes and he just talks our ear off whenever we ask him to. So there's.
And I mean, was also the president of 2 different companies.
It's probably like minimal speaker fees to expect.
Any further questions? Doesn't look like it. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right. You raise your hand, yes?
I'm assuming you're going to say we're going to talk about your organization for some comment.
Yeah, all right.
So close the door, please.
Thank you. All right. 5-minute discussion starts now.
Which one are we talking about?
The first organization.
Alright, they don't need to exist at all. They can exist under IEEE or BMES, any other conversation, basically at any time. And the idea shop, if they want 30 or 10 Arduinos, should buy them themselves. They give a budget, they don't need to spend the student activity fund.
Sorry.
They are specifically a hobbyist club, and both of the organizations you mentioned are professionally oriented organizations. And people from across many different majors at the school, and people from many different, not even related to majors, people who just want to get into Arduinos or Pi, or doing things like that, need an outlet. And this organization would be providing that outlet without the presumptiveness of projects related to a major, or just a membership that's related to a specific major.
John?
I like the fact that they said they were willing to involve high school students. I think if you can spark a high school student's interest in something like building circuits or designing things, if you spark that interest early, they can really get them passionate about it, and it can end up being like a way to feed students in school.
I think the system will help students to have a reliable source to help to consult with Arduinos and other like programming help. As a BME myself, I was a little bit struggling with Arduino as I never did before last semester, and BMES only have one like helping sessions throughout the whole semester. Then that was like a month before my final project was the deadline. My final project on BME, and even in class, I also like have the instruction from TA. Sometimes it's like it's not really that easy for students to understand, and then as a student myself, I'm feeling that outside from internet help and academic help from class, I'm lacking like place to go there and to go like a club or something like what they are actually providing right now, to get some advice or like how to deal with my projects. And I think I don't know about ICE, but for BMES, I don't think that they have on Arduino is as I would say reliable as them as a student perspective.
Morgan?
Didn't they approve this club last semester at the beginning of the semester? If I'm correct, there was like almost this exact same club. Forgot their name.
From what I remember, they were more design related, so they made drawings, CAD.
The Makers Club.
The Makers, I think so.
Yeah.
I thought it was more CAD. That's what I remember.
Making not the same club, I think we should approve them because like these types of projects are important for like a lot of majors. And I think a lot of students would be interested in getting involved, and I don't think that this organization should be a part of a professional organization because one is professional and one isn't professional. So.
I have no problems with like the merits of having an organization like this on campus, but like I have a problem, or maybe I have apprehensions as to like their readiness to like start and run an organization. They didn't seem like they were really prepared as to like be able to host events or market themselves. I'm not sure if they fully understood how much it takes to do that. You know, we asked them about like what kind of events they were running, and like they had one of the lines, they said we want to host high school students, and I asked them about it, and they're like, oh yeah, we think it's a good idea. And then, you know, they hadn't thought about anything beyond that. I know that like the gentleman that they mentioned who runs the iPro shop, or the Idea Shop rather, he's like a great resource, and they do have like a really strong foundation. I'm just not sure if they're like entirely ready to run an organization yet without his help.
I think that while they may not have much of the logistics down yet, I think that the mere fact that they had on many of their slides ideas for specific events or specific initiatives is a very good sign, and that's something that we don't always see from organizations that we end up approving. And I think that while there may have been some hiccups in the presentation, I don't think that we should deny them based on presentation skills, and I don't think that we should deny them based on the fact that they weren't maybe able to expound on their ideas as much as they would have liked to. I think that also denying them the opportunity would not be a healthy thing, because you need to give them the opportunity for them to be able to put together that event in the first place.
What's up?
Like, honestly, last semester in my MAE class, my professor was like, here's an Arduino, do this project, I'm not teaching you anything, and this club would have been so helpful last semester if it existed, so it needs to be a thing, so people like that doesn't have to happen again, because it was awful. Thank you.
Any other points of discussion? I would listen to a motion to extend time. None? Alright, let's vote on this. A for yes, B for no, C, D, E, abstain. There should be 20.
I wonder what John's going to do.
2 more votes. You got approved. Congratulations to them. Right. Let's talk about the next org then. AITP. 5 minutes to discuss. Time starts now. Let's go first.
I'm a little bit concerned at the student interest at that school, the ITM, as far as the other organizations that kind of disappeared. Why exactly does it happen? Or is there really student interest, or is it just how it's structured? I don't know. So I don't know.
So you want to help answer that?
Yeah, sure. Like I do agree with like the concern of like why, you know, like why she mentioned like multiple other organizations that are extremely similar to these have like folded like in recent years. So that is concerning, but I think that's just a lack of planning. So definitely we need to encourage them to like have in their bylaws like every, you know, April or whatever, we elect a new exec board to like to make sure this doesn't happen, so we don't have to keep doing this. And you know, it seems like a great organization, and the alumni chapter seems like they're going to give them all the money they need, so it doesn't seem like they'll be using just about any SAF funding, which is always good.
Another thing I thought about was, I know Wes is a great leader, Jackie's a great leader, plus they have Jacob Morgan who's showed interest in it, so they have people from SGA as well, so I'm pretty sure, at least initially, they will help continue. I trust in their leadership as well. Any other points? 3, 2, 1. No, alright. Let's go into voting. Just a second. Same thing, A for yes, B for no, C, D, E, abstain. Alright, Morgan and Jacob left, so. They got approved. please call Jacob and Morgan. Alright. New business. No new business. Officer reports. Me, yeah, President's report. Elections are coming up, it's in 2 weeks. In exactly 2 weeks this time, the election results will be announced. Wow, that's exciting. We have a lot of interested people running. I think tonight's the last night to submit their packages. So by tomorrow we will know who's running. Debates are next week, next Thursday, March 31st. Yeah, those are the points about elections. Student body email, student body update email. I'm sending them an email. I've asked the VPs for updates that they would like to see sent to the student body. But if you, as senators or different members, have other updates you want to give about your projects, please share them with me. Wait, I had something else. 1 second. Sorry for that. I had another point. Oh yeah, student gift. Can someone from student gift please remind us about the events? Adrian.
Like student gift events?
Yes.
I have no idea. Like where we're gonna be, or like the
When is
Rockies
the
night?
Rockies night?
April 14th.
Yeah, April 14th. Go to Rockies for pay for your drinks. Pay for 21.
What's exciting?
And you
get the
donate
drinks.
your
Are you
drinks.
paying for the drinks?
Yeah, that's. And you
donate.
Yeah, donate.
And donate money. Cool.
Yeah.
I would also like to congratulate Adrian, Gina, Jermarin, Cindy, and Soren on their Striker Awards. They represent SGA really well. So thank you guys. And other members as well who couldn't make it. VP of Academic Affairs report.
So the undergraduate studies committee was discussing the tax rate proposal that we offered.
Can you please come down?
Okay, so the undergraduate studies committee has been discussing the pass fail proposal for almost the entire semester now, but they're almost convinced that it needs to exist on campus. They're just rewording it so that it makes all the departments happy and that they can be pleased with what they have at the end. But most likely in 2 weeks' time, there will be a passed proposal for the university. For those who don't know, it's essentially all free and technical electives can be opted to be taken as a pass or fail option, so that students who want to take any other classes or find new things to learn can do so without the pressure of being graded for them. Another thing that came up during that meeting was that the library is trying to enforce open courseware curriculum for all the classes. One of our senators, Ricardo, has been working on a textbook exchange program, which I think will be integrated extremely well into their program with what they're trying to do. The undocumented students recently, with all the input that they've been giving, even at the Provost Forum, Provost Burnett and I met up and we were talking about what the curriculum is that they want to put in place as a mandatory training for the entire faculty and staff that interacts with students. Jerry Doyle has been asking Tanya Cabrera to work with the people from the related universities, come up with a plan so that they can enforce and put it in place for discussion. They're also planning something, a sort of training program. We don't have all the documents yet, but the information that I've been given is that they're planning a mandatory program in May, June, and July, so that come fall semester, the faculty is prepared to deal with the issues that are facing those students. Another project that one of our students is working on, Akash, is revised costs for printing intensive courses in architecture specifically, because a lot of the classes demand a lot of printing during sessions, and the amount of credit that's been given to them is not enough to cover for what the classes require of them. As part of the University Faculty Council, something that had come up was that they would not like, because the issues that they discuss during the meetings are very sensitive and host a lot of information, that they are not open to having tech news present in the meeting. what they requested or suggested was that being a member and the student rep on the board, I work with the executive board of, I as in the vice president of academic affairs, work with the executive board of the University Faculty Council, prepare a report at the end of each meeting, and then deliver it out to Tech News so that it can be published in the newspaper. They were very receptive to informing the student body about the activities that they take or the decisions that they make, but because of the sensitivity of the information being discussed in the meetings, that's not something that's up for discussion beyond that room. So that may be an additional duty or something that gets put into the vice president's role of duties or whatever you want to call it, but that's what we're working on. I'm working with the president of UFC to figure out what kind of wording needs to be put in place and what are the requirements that need to be done and what kind of collaboration needs to be put in place with Tech News so that all that information is relayed out in a very unbiased and just informative manner. That is all I have for now.
Come, VP. Please come up.
Hello, and the 8 people watching. So the big event, April 16th, we're collaborating with Office of Campus Life, and what we suggested, and they are willing to accept that we'll have senators be site supervisors for the event. If you don't know what big event is, we go to many different sites around Bronzeville and help the communities out there. And it's service hours. At the end of it, we get a nice big lunch. So we'll have, we're hoping to have senators be site supervisors. So I need, not want, just I need senators to sign up to be site supervisors and keep that date open.
What was the date one more time?
April 16th.
What time?
It's early in the morning.
And what does signing up entail? What do we do to sign up?
Slack us.
Slack us. Slack us in the face. Documentation. Please keep documenting your projects that you're working on. It'll make transitions that will come up in 2 or 3 weeks a lot easier for everyone. The new exec board will be aware of what projects are going on and they can jump right in. Slack. So we've been using Slack for almost a year now, but many of us are not using it. I'm looking at academic affairs right now. They're not using Slack properly. Seems like our inter-SGA communication is so bad that it's platform for new exec board members running for elections. So that's embarrassing. It's a little bit insulting. So please, please get on Slack. Please get just judicial board on Slack. Please get finance board on Slack, at least to be informed with what's going on. They don't need to be using it as communication if they don't want to, but if they want to put input and get informed, they should be using Slack. That's all I have. Thank you.
Hey guys, so first thing I want to share with you is the Hawkeye app. We just got an email from OTS that they're ready to officially release the information about it on Friday. They're going to be sending out a mass email to students. I don't know when, but hopefully on Friday for sure. And they're going to be submitting something through IIT today for everyone to see. We're also going to be, I know William submitted something through IIT today, so we might see both of them get up there, I'm not sure. They might filter it just down to one. Are we doing anything for publicizing for now?
Besides the IIT today? Well, I mean, I thought like Soren's Facebook post served as that, but he took it down, so I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll get back to Facebook once they're ready on Friday.
Yeah.
The second thing I have is related, which is the Town Hall OTS plans are on the move. We received an email from our contact person in OTS today, and I'm currently emailing him to plan for the OTS Town Hall, and it's probably going to be sometime in April. So look forward to that. Third thing I have is support the IIT Today survey. The link is up there. Tiny URL IIT Today survey. So please go ahead and take it. We're just gathering as much feedback as we can so we can move on with the project. And the last thing I just wanted to share with you, 2 new projects that were brought up last committee meeting. The first one is the Student Health and Wellness Center wheelchair rentals. So we've noticed that if some of our students have had accidents, there's no access to a wheelchair, so it would be something good if we can buy like 1 or 2, where if a student got into an accident, they would be able to use it for a week or so. That would help them go through their hardship. And the second project is rooftop for Stuart Field bleachers, so something to cover like from sun and rain, to encourage more people to go to matches if the weather did not allow. There's plenty of other projects. If the senators want to talk about them, please talk about them in open floor. You're very encouraged to do so. But that's it for me. Thank you.
Finance board chair.
Advising week is Monday, April 4th to Friday, April 8th. I'll send out an email where you can sign up. What is this? There it is. And we updated the finance board guidelines like we were supposed to every semester. That's really it. I'm looking for new finance board advisors, so if you want to be a finance board advisor, you know anybody, have them email me. Any questions?
In what way were those updated?
So a lot of it was trying to make the verbiage a lot more clear. One of the ways was adding different sections, so instead of going straight to judicial board with tiny little things that you want changed in your allocations, you can come to us, and then we have sections in there that allows you to come to us, and then if we don't change what you want, then you can go to judicial board. And it's just clarifying everything so that basically everything you ever need to know for finance board is in there. What else is updated? I lost some. He knows a lot of stuff. It's really all I can remember. Yes, sir.
Is there a form for the finance board petition?
Yes. Form for the finance board.
For instead of there's a form for J board petitions. Is there a form for going to finance board first?
No, you just email me.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Cool.
Pretty casual.
Mm-hmm. And is that specifically stated in the documents?
Yep. It should be. Yeah. Great. Thanks, guys.
Judicial board, no updates. Events coordinator, no updates. No updates from senators. Open floor. Anybody have anything they want to talk about? Sorry.
I'd like to just quickly discuss, I'm helping lead the effort to put together a student org forum later this semester. Over the break, I got basic availability from everybody. There's 3 dates that we're looking at right now. They're all Thursdays in April, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th. I just want to gather some opinions on whether that forum should take place before the transition to the new exec board to get the people with sort of the most knowledge about how the processes have run, or with people from the new exec board after that transition has taken place to get sort of an idea of what things are going to be like going forward. So I just want some opinions on that.
Wait, this is going to be a new student org forum?
This is a forum for members of current student orgs or anybody who wants to come, anybody who's thinking about forming a student org, anybody who's had trouble forming a student org, to come forward. There's going to be representatives from OCL, from Judicial Board, from Finance Board, and they can basically just anything related to a student org, they can come forward and say, I've had problems with this, and how do I do this, or I've had trouble with this, or I think this is unfair, and get some answers, or work with us to maybe develop some policies.
If it was to happen when the new exec board takes over, I would like to think that the old exec board would also be open to come in to share their opinions. So I wouldn't see that big of a problem. If you need the time to actually get things going until after then, I don't think you need to rush it.
Are you saying the old exec board would want to participate on the panel, or?
I would like to think so, but
Okay.
I would speak for myself, yes. if that would support the mission of your meeting.
Okay.
And I would like to think that everybody else would agree.
Is there anyone who doesn't agree with that? Do you want to expound on it? Well, then that's the way it's gonna be.
Then I suggest doing it afterwards, because you need.
Yeah, I'll do it after. I'll give it a couple weeks after the transition, probably.
Jacob,
at
this is
latest
the
date.
this is the forum we were talking about that we need you and Dina for.
Yep, the new finance board chair will be there. Some of everything. It's been on finance board.
We'll figure out the makeup a little more, but we'll have it on the that latest date, the 28th, and that'll give us enough time to promote and all of that.
Shimano?
How do you feel about being live on camera?
Self-confidence.
I like it.
Oh, I have a
Shout out to this guy's mom.
You're being on camera when you're asking her.
Hi, Alva's mom.
Yeah.
She won.
Does anybody have any points as to why we shouldn't have the Senate live stream?
I think it's good.
I think the only thing is like when like the student orgs leave
Yep.
and like we're discussing them, in theory they could just tune in by going online.
Right. They can't do anything about it.
Yeah. So, but you know, there's loopholes.
I think that really, it is an issue, but I think that it's not really an issue that requires us to take action, because I think the real problem with that is if people are in the room and they're looking at you, that's sort of an emotional barrier to perhaps being as honest as you could be, or exerting some sort of influence. Whereas if those people physically aren't in the room, I think it's perfectly fair for our students to be able to openly see how these discussions take place. And I think that it's a very good thing, even if the people who are involved in those organizations can see those discussions. But I think that there would be problems with having them in the room. And I think this is actually a pretty good compromise on that front.
Any other feedback?
Does anybody strongly object to being recorded live?
Jelani had something.
No, not about the camera.
No. Okay.
Do you want to?
I think just in general for one of the orgs we just approved, the hobby club, the person who was talking the most, Carlo, he's a freshman, so I feel like if he doesn't have any knowledge as far as, or he doesn't have enough knowledge as far as the resources he could use to help lead the club he's trying to start, I feel like we should kind of extend in a link to SGA, because we have a lot of knowledge about the ways he could promote and be involved in other things. I'm not really wording my sentences very well right now, but I just think it's kind of our job to help see new orgs achieve their goals at first, at least. And it shouldn't be completely up to them to get their orgs off the ground.
No, once they get approved, you're saying after a new org gets approved, right?
Mm-hmm.
They do work things out with Ryan, who's not here right now. Okay, they work together with Ryan to figure out what to do in the first stages of the thing, and they also get feedback from Mete about what we discussed in the meeting and what we recommended that they should do. So we are doing that already. But if the liaison project goes through, it'll be even better.
My words. Saw through my words.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing with the liaison project. I think that there are problems with the current process in that OCL, while its staff is very dedicated, there are so many student organizations, and there's only a few people assigned to them. And there have been a lot of stories of people getting lost in the shuffle after their initial setup. And I think that liaison project, and Aaron's not here today, so we can't really have that thorough discussion about it. But I think that the liaison project will be a really good step in the right direction to get these clubs on their feet if they need a little help.
On that note, for the liaison project, Aaron has asked that current senators send their involvement in other student organizations to him, so slap him in the face, all right, with what organizations you're part of.
Can someone make it a project or work on all the organizations that we've approved and that exist, just what they are and description of them. I know it's online, but can someone make a list of them? Because I know when you guys sometimes speak, do you know about this club? Do you know about that club? I don't even know about those clubs, so I kind of want to.
There's a list
They're
on
all
HawkLink.
It's horribly out of date.
It's not, so if they're,
Oh,
so
that'd be
for
probably
OCL,
liaison.
if everything's on HawkLink, that means they're active. Like, they might not have a huge campus presence, but if they're on HawkLink, they exist and they have a representative. Like, if they aren't active, they won't be on HawkLink. So, like, if they only hold one event a year, they're an org. And, like, if they go to finance board or if they don't go to finance board for money, but they're still approved by, like, SGA and OCL, they're going to be on HawkLink. So HawkLink's your most accurate thing for that.
But it is very hard to aggregate all of that information.
Like
on
categorize
HawkLink
them?
Because it's page by page by
Yeah, I've
page,
seen
and
it,
HawkLink's
yeah.
categories are a bit weird.
Yeah.
But so if you're, I can't remember which project this was for. It was probably for the liaison project. Aaron and I obtained a full email list of primary contacts for each organization, and I think that Ryan would probably be willing to aggregate sort of a list of all the organizations with the description section, whatever description that OCL keeps internally, and give that to us for use without contact information. And we can probably talk to him about that. I'll make a note of that.
Jelani.
Just as far as, I guess we're talking about the liaison project and HawkLink, and I know a lot of people are concerned about how out of date HawkLink can be. That I feel like is one of the things we're trying to put into the liaison project is the senator involved the student org work with the org to have their HawkLink page up to date and active, so that way we could actually push HawkLink to freshmen where it's like if you want to learn about an org, you just tell them look at HawkLink, and if everyone's HawkLink is up to date, then it's actually a really good resource because it's literally all the orgs in the school there. They have photos, they have events, and it's a lot easier to know about the orgs, to learn about them.
You want to, Yosef, did you want to say something? Shubarna and then Sarna.
Part of the forum also that we're having in April is also trying to get all student organizations to post their events in a single space, at least one common space, which is HawkLink, so we all know what events are going on, and hopefully that promotes the use of HawkLink. Another thing is Ryan is very receptive to student feedback on changes that should be made to HawkLink, and because of that, we've been able to get some changes done. He works with Campus Labs, which is the creator of HawkLink, I think, and they try to change things as feedback is given to them.
It's also worth mentioning that at the recent Student Org President's Luncheon that was put together by OCL, there was a lot of discussion about HawkLink and about using HawkLink and about what can be done to improve the experience of HawkLink. And one of the issues that came up was freshmen are pushed HawkLink at some point during their orientation process, and some freshmen will go on HawkLink their first couple of weeks and they'll ask a question.
There's no HawkLink in orientation. I was wondering if you could do this. I know.
Not anymore, during advising.
It's my IIT. There's no HawkLink. The school doesn't own.
I was pushed to HawkLink during my orientation.
But they don't talk about how to use it. You're pushed to sign up, but not how to use it.
But
the only thing you do is
but it
sign
is
up.
pushed.
Yeah.
And when students enter that platform, something that the members of OCL brought up was they will leave questions on student org pages. Like, I know with WIIT we got a couple of questions about, like, how can I help on the technical side? And if an organization doesn't have an active HawkLink presence, then those questions usually go unanswered because nobody sees it for 3 months until you need to, like, update your financial information or something. And part of the efforts of these presidents' luncheons that OCL is putting together, and the liaison project and the student org forum, all of this is sort of to help get everybody on the same page to spur use of that platform again, because really at its core, HawkLink has its issues, but it's a very good platform for what it's built for, and it can foster student life very well, and hopefully it will, but that conversation is happening.
Jacob.
I was going to move to adjourn.
I actually have one point.
No, I didn't accept that motion.
Okay, so is there a way that we can have the student senator liaisons, I don't want to say force is not the right words, but aggressively encourage is not also the right word, but somehow get the organizations that they're assigned to basically continue to update HawkLink on a regular basis? Is there a way that we're able to monitor that other than like searching every single one on HawkLink, or can we do that? Can we implement that?
The events thing on the phone app, is that HawkLink's events?
It's HawkLink's events, because I checked it, but like the thing is orgs don't put all their events on HawkLink, they just make a Facebook event and invite 1,000 people.
Don't you think that if we have an app that every student uses in the entire school that has all the events on every day, that every organization would post to it? Because I think that it would.
Yeah,
So like
it's
having
up to
an
orgs
app
to
that is hooked up with HawkLink probably will push students to use HawkLink more. So
Just to answer Will's question, as far as how we're going to get that done, I know in the communications committee, since the liaison project was kind of formulated there, we're working out the details of exactly how we're going to try to monitor all of this, like objectify it in terms of like actual goals you can achieve. But as far as how we're going to aggressively convince them to monitor the pages, I think that'll be established through talking to them a lot and telling them the things that we're trying to do as SGA and involve them in our goals, and then through that we can kind of incentivize them to pick up the slack on HawkLink.
I think that going along with what Giovanni was saying, it's more of a passive process, because I think that sort of I think the words aggressive and all of that shouldn't really define what we're doing with HawkLink and with the liaison project. The liaison project should be a friendly face, should be somebody as a go-to, and they shouldn't necessarily be pushing something on an organization. I think that many of the passive things happening around HawkLink, just talking about it more through these president's luncheons and through SGA, simply bringing it up every once in a while and having the calendar integrated into the app. All of these more passive things will encourage use on their own. And I think that use in and of itself encourages use, because right now we have an atmosphere where nobody uses HawkLink, and that's the justification for nobody using HawkLink. And in the future, as more people start to use HawkLink, that can be a justification for jumping on and using HawkLink. And I don't think we necessarily need to do some sort of like concerted everybody use HawkLink push, or make policy in the liaison program that says tell people to use HawkLink. But as part of that program, we can just bring it up every once in a while, say sort of like as a marketing strategy, you can add this to the calendar, here's something you can do, and not necessarily go to this is something you should be doing or have to be doing.
So we keep talking about the President's Luncheon. Does everybody know what it is or was? So upon Rahul's request, Dean Stats set up luncheons for all student org presidents. They were invited through email, I think through HawkLink. And I attended the first one, and another cool thing that came of it, we discussed having a presidential Slack. So all presidents would be on this Slack, and they'll be able to communicate what events they're having, or what rooms they want to book, things like that ahead of time, and they can discuss collaborations. Another use could be some students, say one student organization is struggling to maintain their members or something like that, they ask for help, and another student organization which is really flourishing, they can share tips and tricks on how to maintain that organization and help each other out. I think that will be a great collaborative tool. Now OCL is kind of slacking on what they said they'd do on that part, but we'll be in touch with them and make this happen. I think it's a cool idea.
Any other feedback?
One last question. What do you do at the big event? You said, I don't know, did you answer his question? What do you do at the big event? Like what project?
So it's voluntary philanthropy.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just like going to a site and then working on that site, whether it's like picking up garbage or like helping.
And as you do that with the volunteers hours, we save millions, not millions, many thousands of dollars.
I'm expecting to be getting information on those sites within the next couple of days, and then they'll probably, once I get all that together, I can be pushing it through Slack. So again, the main thing that we need right now is for like just senators and anybody else who wants to help to be available on the 16th and to talk to Concom and Slack, so that hopefully once I get all this information, we can start getting that sorted away.
I had another, before we move to adjourn, I had another point that I wanted to ask you guys about. I actually just remembered it. I was thinking in my email, I know a lot of students have asked me to do this, and I've thought of this as well. Sending out a giant when to meet in that email for students to put their availability for events when they like to have events generally. For example, if we see a lot of Thursday nights or we see a lot of a specific time, do you think that would be a good idea? That would help a lot of people?
You mean like university-wide, like for just as a reference point for organizations?
This will be, I mean, if you do it as a, if I do it as a, I forgot that website, but if I do it as a when to meet, everybody can see when everyone's available. So that way you get to see names of people, but it helps a lot of student organizations.
When to meet is easy to spam. Yeah. I mean, the schedule gonna change like every single semester.
Yeah, I mean,
right? So
I mean, I won't do it in this email. I'll probably ask the next president to do it in the first email they send next semester. Is that a good idea? No
Yes.
feedback? All right, I got a yes.
I don't see why not. You should try it.
All right. All right, thank you guys. Thank you for coming. Please come and give me your iCloud.
Okay, so two of the people who were watching it were right behind you.
This is your home.
Sorry, were you watching it too?
I was not.
You should have been watching it. You could
there's
watch
no
yourself.
point of having people watching it here.
We
Well, I
get
was-
feedback on the audio.
Yeah, I was watching it just to make sure the audio was working.
It inflates our viewership. Exactly. I never said that tomorrow.
So what are we doing about this?
It is my job to finish it. It's not my job to send it.
Yes, it is. It's on you, man.
Talk to the general about the working idea.
Most of this is like
How do I stop this stream?
I just wanted to, like, you don't have to or anything, I was just asking. I mean, if you do start writing articles, it will be on the SGA section.
IIT today,
Just might be something that you want to know.
It's all for next year.
okay. Do you want to see it this weekend? Want to be hard
Because like the
Okay, I'll send you a final do like this right now. Alright. And then can you tell me about if I need to add anything?
I won't be able to see it until Friday.
Yeah, if you've ever seen hashtags for study,
Okay.
I do trust you.
Okay.
hashtag resource.
Cool. Sorry, I'll figure that out.
Thank you, David.
I just needed clarification. I was like, looking at this, I was like, I don't know.
Warner, you crushed my subtlety with I was trying to like kind of subtly. We have to. Liaison budget. He was like, give me the liaison